soon as my computer catches up. There we go. I will call to order the annual board meeting for the Jefferson County Industrial Development Agency, October 1st, 2015. Everyone received minutes from our last meeting. Is there any additions and or corrections?
Make a motion, we approve them.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for approval. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Treasurer's report?
Yeah, treasurer's report starts on page 5. Again, this is preliminary year-end figures. And the first one is our balance sheet, broken out by the individual funds, as we always review. You can see unrestricted, we do have $182,000 in cash, plus $33,000 really cash available for our expenses. You see the we have in stream capital reserve of $342,000. Pilot checking and pilot monies receivable are offset by our payable down below. Miscellaneous receivables is over on page 12, I believe. That's where I wrote my notes anyway. And most of that is the New York air break, where we haven't closed that yet, but we have approved their project, and we've taken the money into income even though we haven't closed on it yet. So going down, and you see our fixed assets we have available. Our total assets for the agency is $7,946,000. Unrestricted part of that is $829,000, and you can see the loan funds and the other funds that we have, the stream building and so on. Liabilities, again, I mentioned the accounts payable pilots is offset by above. Only other major liability we have is the IAP grant, and someday maybe we'll have to pay that. So we have a fund balance of $7,378,000 for the agency as a whole, and our unrestricted fund balance is $265,000. Then we look at our income statement. Again, it's for our full 12 months, so we can compare against our budget. You can see that our revenues came in a couple $100,000 under budget, but most of that is up above. And our pilot sale leaseback fees were $600,000 short there. But you note that our application and process fees, which maybe these all could be lumped together anyway because they're all fee income that we get for our various projects that we are involved with. That's under $200,000. And then I will point out to you the Convergence Capital Fund we didn't have in the budget, but this is the $200,000 that comes in, and that goes over into the capital reserve. So you can see then our revenues year to date, $1,030,000. Expenses are pretty close to what we had budgeted. You can see on the far right hand side the overages and shortages. And I will point out to you that we had a revolving loan fund. Bad debt is actually a minus 90, which is a recovery. So that helps our expenses also, because it lessens our expenses overall. You can see when we get down to the second page of the P&L, for the agency as a whole, we're showing a profit of $18,000. But again, take into consideration things we talked about, the $200,000 that is not unrestricted funds that's a pass-through into our account, into our capital reserve. The next page is income statement for just the unrestricted income, and again here this reflects the doesn't include the interest income that we show on our P&L and for the agency as a whole. Doesn't show the $200,000 that was in there. So you can see that our revenues are considerably under what we had projected, and again, that is in the pilot sale leaseback fees. Expenses are pretty close to what we had projected, but for our unrestricted funds, we are showing negative expenses over income of $354,000. Next balance sheet is what we've really already looked at. On the far right-hand side of our first one, this is for all the agency as a whole. Again, our assets, $7.9 million, and our liabilities are small, so our capital is $7.4 million. Next page is our receipts, and then we have our receivables. As I mentioned, you can see there the New York air brake. When we do close on that, on the pilot on that, we'll have that income coming in. We'll have that cash collected. We've already taken it to income. You can see our receivables that Lyle includes for us to look at. These are our loan receivables. And our pilot receivables, note that they're all current. There's nothing that's past due. And let's see, cash disbursements are not much there. Everything's in order. And I'll let Lyle talk about his collections.
Okay, that's page 18. You'll notice we do have one delinquent account in the pilot program. That's Metro Paper. That is a fixed payment due September 1st every year, and it has not been made yet. Going down to the receivables and the RLF, Floral, of course, is going to be written off. That won't appear next month. Metro Paper is 4 months behind in their loan payment. We've received word that the check's in the mail for June and July, but it would go to NCA, so I haven't seen it.
You ever heard that before, Jim?
But hopefully it works out. Riverside Plaza, that's the Mike Trainer building down by the river, 3 months behind. NCA has contacted him on that one as well. Down in the Micro Enterprise Fund, Vic Brothers, NCA is lead on this. We have developed a workout plan with Vic Brothers. They were to pay the total interest and late fees by yesterday, $1,704, which they did. And we've agreed to do a 3-month interest-only payment, October, November, and December, with full payments to resume January 1st. Now, we did not extend the maturity date of the loan. It will still remain January 1st, 2016. At that time, they will have a balloon payment of $13,363. NCA has gotten them to sign an agreement to this effect. Well, I guess we don't have to approve it, we probably should confirm it.
Okay. I'd entertain a motion to confirm the agreement with Bick Brothers worked out by NCA.
So move.
We consulted on it, so.
Second?
Second.
Any questions for Lyle?
Does that mean that that'll come off our list because they'll be current until
Yes,
January 1st?
They will
and
be
then they'll-
meeting the terms of the agreement, so it'll come off.
In the meantime, they're making plans for the balloon payment.
Yes,
That's in their
well,
intention.
according to their accountant, they are, yeah. But you know how accountants are.
All right. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries, thank you.
Okay, going on, Heroes Haven was 1 month behind. Late yesterday afternoon, he brought in a check, so he's current.
Yay.
Little Sisters, they've gone out of business. Peggy and I went over and did an inventory of the equipment, took pictures, and Mr. Erie and I have been discussing means of disposing of that. We'll have more information for you soon, I hope. Louise Bly is 9 months behind. I've talked with her. There's some problems with a divorce and payments from an ex-husband and so on. I think that's in court. I'm not sure where that one's going, but we'll stay on top of it.
Lyle, what is that? I can't remember her.
That's the soap,
Oh,
she's the,
Oh, in Carthage,
yeah.
oh.
She's-
little boutique there. They're still open though, right?
Have we sent a demand letter?
I just talked with her this past month, she was going to get me some more information. That's probably the next step.
I was gonna say, it's 9 months, we should have sent one before now, probably.
Well, we like to work with them if we can, and we had some hope that this would come together, but it hasn't.
Did you inspect that $50,000 cooler at Little Sisters?
Well, there is more equipment than we realize, I think it's,
You need ice cubes?
much more than I thought. In fact, if you want some furniture for your hunting camp, we could probably make you a good deal.
Yeah, you wanna spray it good and get the bed bugs out of it.
They did have an infestation of bed bugs. Lyric Enterprises, I've spoken with her, she's going to get us some money very shortly. She's expecting to have an offer on the business, within the next week or so. I think it's someone from New York City that's retiring in the islands. RC Spot is 1 month behind. I spoke with Ryan, he was out of the country and they will be getting caught up. Robo Spray is 2 behind, we will no doubt receive payment on that very shortly. He usually comes in. Stay, we did get one the first of the month. Stay on the Seaway is 3 months behind, she made a 2 months payment on the 21st of this month and is expecting to close on some properties and get caught up. So we've been in contact with everyone and no one is avoiding us.
Okay.
Again, on Lyric Enterprises, if we don't get something from her, or know that she's got a purchase agreement, should we be doing a demand letter on that? I mean, what's our policy? Isn't it after 4 months we do start doing demand?
Well, it depends upon the circumstances. If we're getting some payments in, keeping not too far behind, we don't do a demand letter, because, we'd rather work with them and get our money than have them shut down and not pay us at all. So
But
we
if
try
she-
to be a little bit flexible on it.
Okay. If she doesn't get I mean, we know she's getting a purchase agreement or whatever, so we don't worry about it at that point because we'll be paid off. But if she doesn't get it,
Then, yeah,
Then you take steps.
but she does stay in contact. She's very conscientious about it.
There's lots of equity there, it's just operating. I don't foresee, even if that
Yeah,
gets out there 6 payments and we have to settle it out, I'm sure we can settle that one out.
yeah. But geez Louise, why we haven't had a payment since January?
What's the balance of the stay on the Seaway law?
It's on one of these pages here.
Just over 10,000.
Yeah.
It's on 10,000.
10,289, yeah.
So I'm just wondering if he's selling land to make payments, is the business sustainable?
No, she's a
She's
realtor.
a real estate.
Oh, he's a real,
She has fees from sales.
Yeah, initially that was to grow that business, they were gonna hire 2 or 3 people.
Yeah, she's gonna open an office downtown, move it out of her house.
She did, I guess.
She did, yeah.
Would you
All I
like
can
to
say
make a
is they're
motion?
lucky they got Lyle to work with.
Yeah, the banks wouldn't be so good about it.
Yeah. Well, I think we would rather have the money and put some of it out of business than if we can work with them and keep it flowing. Maybe a little slow, but as long as it keeps flowing,
That's what it's there for.
I make a motion, we accept the treasurer's report.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Loan review,
Loan review met on Tuesday. We had a request from Midway International Logistics, which is a meat processing, chicken processing facility, using the Renzi building on Bradley Street. They wanna buy that. Looking for a loan of $200,000. After discussion, we do recommend that we approve that loan.
Well, at this point, I don't mean to interrupt, we have some other issues that have come up, and so we'd like to table that at this time.
Oh, okay.
I take responsibility for that. We expected to have some information available to you, for us and to you this morning. Unfortunately, because of the timing, we just met with these folks yesterday. We aren't comfortable in presenting it to you for consideration at this point.
Okay.
So we'll withdraw for this month and see how it goes for next.
Okay. And then what else? We talked about a lease back for mortgage management for another housing process, or housing project that they want to do across the street from the current project. And originally we said, no, we're not involved at all with housing. We don't want to be involved with housing, and you know, for various reasons of competition for housing and amount of housing we have. We've met what was required of us, or asked of us in the first place, because we didn't usually get into housing anyway. But then Scott came up with an idea of a lease back where we do totally recover the taxes, the sales taxes, mortgage taxes, and all that kind of stuff. And I guess Don's going to follow up on that, so we'll have to make a decision on whether we want to do that or not. And we've discussed the UTEP. We have the existing UTEP, which was last done in 2004. We did review it in 2010, but decided at that point to stick with what we had. We're looking at it again with some changes, and Don's put together a preliminary one for us to look at, to upgrade, using some of the verbiage that we had in the 2010 project, and cleaning things up and so on. So we are working on that, possibly extending the amount of, the length of a pilot from 15 to 20 years, and cleaning up some things that are in the proposal that we have. So we're working on that one. Maybe by next time we can have it coming to our board, because there's nothing really major that we're changing, just some verbiage and maybe changing the terms. It's something that it has to go out to all the taxing jurisdictions if we change it, but they don't have to approve it. We get feedback and so on from them on what our changes are. Also, we're looking at doing put a clawback in there and be more specific on that, and then probably having a side policy and procedures on clawback, because the state's looking at that. Let's see, what's this one?
What was it?
You have to talk about committee meetings, but those are just,
That was just discussion.
yeah, just a discussion, yeah. So nothing to, that's just a report at this point.
If I may, Michelle, I'll add that I've taken the proposal for spreading out the implication of sales tax to both the town of Watertown and to the project developer, Kevin Morgan, and haven't heard back from Morgan. He was out of town because this occurred just Tuesday, so I reached out yesterday. And I got a comment from Joel that they are considering this and would give us their opinion about this, potential. And we all seem to think that was a great suggestion too, because it basically, if it's not quick enough, it's income neutral, which is the point Scott made before, to the taxing entities. Nobody loses anything by it, but it does take the immediate impact of the sales tax and spreads it over a little bit and helps them get started with the project. So,
And I know
Great suggestion.
Scott's on the committee, but the other entity probably is the county in that too. But Scott is aware, and
Yeah, and the school will, yeah.
The school, well, the school
That-
gets.
School doesn't get any
School
sales
doesn't
tax.
get sales tax, do they?
Pardon?
School
gets-
doesn't get sales.
No,
tax.
that's right.
Just the
No,
just the
not
county,
sales- no,
just
no,
the
not
county.
sales tax, but, you know, because they're an impacted jurisdiction, only because they're, you know, that's where this would be cited. And if it goes forward, there may be some additional, young people showing up at the school system, we keep them informed.
Yeah.
It's not
But
a
that,
requirement.
yeah.
All right. Nominating committee,
Me again.
you again.
Busy.
Michelle's over.
Yeah, we, September, this was a meeting we had on Tuesday, as we talked about at our last meeting. Again, we are recommending the current slate of officers as follows: Chairman Dave Converse, Vice Chairman Ken Berto, Treasurer Michelle Paff, Secretary Ed Waldorf. I'd like to make a motion that we elect those officers for the coming year.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Thank you, I
Okay,
guess.
and then as we mentioned, we were looking at new members for the JCLDC vacant board seats, and names came up, and there's a couple other people that members of the committee were going to go out, and if anybody has any suggestions on people for the board for the LDC, let us know. We will be meeting again. But in the meantime, we want to make the recommendation or motion that the IDA appoint Richard Duval, the CEO of the Carthage Area Hospital, to the JCLDC Board of Directors.
Do I have a
I'll
s-
second
Any discussion? All in favor, aye?
that.
Opposed? Carries, thank you.
By the way.
Thanks, Michelle.
Michelle, I've reached out to Mike Hawthorne. at
I saw
Airport,
that, thank you, yes, I saw
And
that.
he's asking, and we'll see how that all works out, so.
As with the LDC, the governance committee met and reviewed the bylaws, mission statement, performance measurements, and policies and procedures. And we'd like to once again approve those with no changes, knowing that sometime within the next 6 months, we'll have to take another look at them because of what the state's coming down. So I'd entertain a motion on that.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, aye?
One question.
Yes, I'm
Does
sorry.
that- Are we excluding the procurement on this one too?
Yes.
Okay.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Thank you. And we will table the procurement policy until next month. Unfinished business. Dan?
I just might add that, keep the board aware, as you know, we're at year end, and as Michelle pointed out, some of the numbers are going to be pretty close to what they're gonna look like for the past year. You have seen that we have overstated our project income for the past year. Going forward, I'm a little bit concerned about the pipeline, and I've mentioned this, I think, to the board in the past. There are a number of projects cooking, but at the moment, it's difficult to say that any or all of those will come to the table. So I don't know what in all candor, what the year ahead will look like insofar as our fee income is concerned. But I am a little nervous. So, we're doing, I think, all that we can to try to create an environment where development can occur, and we can get some projects in the pipeline. And I'm adding this not only because it affects our income and how we operate, but because it may suggest some slowdown of activity in the area, and that troubles a good deal. So we're trying to be as aggressive as we can about that, but to be forewarned that we may be looking at something less than a
I'd seen the news today that there's a possibility Newton Falls paper mill might be purchased. What's the progress we've made as far as the rail in Jefferson County?
Well, that's a very good question. I talked last night with Attorney Gibo. We had a meeting at the Historical Society, and I asked him to intervene on our behalf where we could sit down and talk with the village officials in Carthage relative to repairs that are necessary to the crossings there. And this relates to their ability or their willingness to approve a pilot, which we need to do in order to assist St. Lawrence County with their $11 million grant to upgrade the rail. So we've been trying to pull together a consensus where we need the three counties, St. Lawrence, Jefferson, and Lewis counties, to agree to a pilot, which then will substantiate what we have promised the state insofar as that grant is concerned. So work on the rail line is underway. St. Lawrence County is moving steadily forward. They've started to fully inspect the bridges, the ties, all that kind of stuff. The Development Authority has been called in, and they're helping to manage the work on the rail itself. We're making some headway. I wish it could be a little faster. I wish we could get a little more affirmative action from some of the folks we're dealing with, but we're going to continue to move it forward because it's important. That rail line is a regional transportation asset, and we need to protect it. If for no other reason, for two of our major employers in the village of Carthage. And that line has to be upgraded, in my opinion, and we've got to make sure that it's a safe, the crossings are safe in the village of Carthage. And I can understand their concern. Work is going on some of those rail things in the village right now, which, according to the individual I talked to last night, that has made a better comfort level on the part of the village. So I think we're going to be able to pull this all together. It's just been a long process to do it.
But my external observation, for what little knowledge I have of that, was that sale, from a speculative standpoint, it's for there's a huge amount of space up there that can be it's kind of like an air brake, what this corner here at Starbucks. It can be an incubator for some group of manufacturing. It's really not re-emerging as a paper mill or anything along those lines. It's you're buying it for 10 cents on the dollar, which speculative. That's pretty cost effective. Plus, it's got a 45-mile rail line that's going to be developed hopefully.
Well, you're absolutely right. That's the point. I mean, having a rail asset, for example, if we were looking to attract a company to our community right now, we would say, we can't put them here if they wanted rail. We can't put them here because we don't have rail. But perhaps we could put them up at Newton Falls because they do have rail. So it provides another method by which we can market the community as a region. So it's just one of those assets, and there are a number of other factors going on behind the scenes that suggest we need to keep that rail operating. And rail, short line rail business is not exactly hugely profitable these days, and it's all based on tonnage. And if you don't have the tonnage, you're not going to make any money. So we got to try to help them stay in the region, because then we can market that as an asset. If we lose it, then the asset goes away.
Okay. Any other unfinished business?
We're making steady progress at the airport park, which I forgot to mention, but we continue to finish up with some of the environmental issues that we're facing. I right now fully expect to be able to start clearing property on or about the 15th of November. And we have, that enables us to comply with all of the environmental issues and make sure that the bat habitat is not affected in any way, shape, or form. And then we can begin to show evidence that there's actually going to be a facility. And you saw the absolutely super news, I hope everybody was cheering it, I know this guy was, when the county announced they got the runway expansion. And that just opens up so many possibilities. And
Did our environmental studies cover that extension area? I mean,
Well-
is that ready to go for the environmental wise, Scott? So you're,
I believe it's all ready to go, sure.
it's ready to go from their perspective. Our group didn't,
Okay.
there was a companion activity. I mean,
Okay.
we looked at what environmentals were done there, and we obviously are very concerned. Our environmentals have to reflect the fact that we're sitting next to the airport.
Sure.
We can't, for example, inadvertently create habitat. Strangely enough, we have to be concerned we can't destroy habitat, but we also have to be concerned we don't create habitat, because these guys don't want additional birds, for example, flying around the end of the runway. So, I mean,
Get rid of all the trees you have to worry about.
it's
Clear cut.
Yeah.
There goes my chicken farm.
Yeah. So we,
Then you get
I
grass
have
land
a,
birds.
we have a permit,
Chickens don't fly that high.
working on that.
You're safe.
okay.
So,
Just
anyway,
don't start pigeons
yes,
first.
we've taken
Okay.
it all.
Very good. Counselor, we have a resolution
Yes,
today?
yes, this is a authorizing resolution for the egg hatchery. Our normal resolution, there'll be a pilot, there'll be a sale leaseback, and there won't be any mortgage, but other than that, it'll have all the same bells and whistles that we usually have.
Okay.
And parenthetically, the county was kind enough, the committee of the county was kind enough to approve this Tuesday night, which is great. Thanks to Scott for his leadership in that.
Make a motion, we approve this.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
All right, on resolution 1001, 2015-02. It's a resolution for a pilot and a leaseback transaction for avian.
Yes, ultimately.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Should be noted.
Opposed? Resolution carries.
And I had one more thing.
Oh, roll call
Yeah,
vote.
roll
I-
call, that's
Well,
right.
should
Sorry.
it be noted that subject to county full board approval?
Oh, yeah, we won't approve the pilot until all three.
Right. It's all
Yeah,
jurisdictions.
All jurisdictions.
Now,
want
this
to
night,
approve
school
it.
board meets Monday. so-
Yeah, yeah, so it was just a
This
little
just
bit of-
gets our
It's not
approval on the
standard.
table, and then we
No.
gotta go through the practice.
No, it's a processing, it's not
Oh,
manufacturing.
that's right, yeah. Things are gonna change.
Chaz?
Dave,
Yes.
Don,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Michelle,
Yes.
Ed.
Yes.
And Michelle asked the question, you know, why this didn't fit under our UTEP, and it happens to be that it's not the manufacturing, industrial manufacturing, it's a processing. Therefore, you know, hopefully that processing will be in our, when we update the
Yeah.
UTEP.
That's one of the things we'll be looking at is
Yeah.
definitions not being quite so specific.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to let you know that I believe we have a scheduled closing on the 13th for New York Air Break.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, finally.
Have they started doing their project, working over there?
I don't really know. I don't know whether they've started it or not.
Yes, they have started.
Yeah. But they'll
Because of the weather.
lose, whatever.
Yeah, I was gonna say, okay, we wanna close this, so we can
We-
get the
we
benefits.
We gave them permission to start, we started the process, we gave them permission to start because of the weather. You know, they had some really serious timing constraints, and they're underway.
They lose what? Their,
Any sales tax, if they bought material.
and they know that?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah,
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 okay.
they knew that very much so.
Yeah, we,
Okay. I mean, we acquiesced to it, but
Yeah, we've been ready to close for quite a while, and there's been a delay. I don't know what it is from
on their end.
Took a
Yeah.
little intervention.
So they know it's all responsibility of theirs.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
Anything else for the IDA?
One quick thing, Mr. Chairman, relative to Convergys. For background, as you know, Convergys leases our building from us, and we have some agreements to maintain the facility and so on, and they set up a reserve, and you've heard talk about it. Lyle's explained that, but we frankly had thought that most of the larger capital projects were behind us when we did some work on the roof, we did work on the parking lot, that kind of stuff. Recently, we have discovered that the heating and ventilation units on top of the roof are in, my definition is bad shape. And so we are working very hard to develop a strategy, not only to replace and repair, but to further develop a strategy to maintain. We thought that the company we had employed to do that was maintaining these units at a level that would suggest longer life. Well, as it turns out, that's not the case. And so a lot of these units have decayed, in my view, faster than they should have, which means that we're gonna have to spend some money to bring them back up to speed. We have one or two that are actually failing there. And that obviously can't happen because it impacts the environment that these people are working in. And Convergys, as you know, has just added additional employees. So in fact, there's more strain on the heating and vac system than has been in the past. So we gotta get these repaired. I just want you to know that we'll be spending some money getting this done, and we have a strategy, we have the people in place now, and we'll get it done. But we'll be spending some.
It'll all come out of the capital account anyways.
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor, aye?